Hello and welcome to I Speak Fluent. Today's story is about a traveler whose vacation didn't go as planned. As you listen, see if you can identify the travel idioms and expressions. At the end, I'll ask you what they mean. Let's begin. Last summer, I decided it was finally time to take a break from work and travel somewhere new. I had spent weeks planning every detail of my trip. My flights were booked, my hotel was reserved, and I had even made a list of restaurants I wanted to try. Everything looked perfect, or so I thought. The trouble started the moment I arrived at the airport. The departure board showed that my flight had been delayed by 4 hours. I looked around and realized I wasn't the only frustrated traveler. Families, business travelers, and tourists were all waiting patiently, hoping things would get back on track. When we finally boarded the plane, I thought the worst was over. Unfortunately, I was wrong. After landing, I waited nearly an hour at baggage claim before discovering my suitcase had been sent to the wrong country. At that point, I thought, well, that's just part of the journey. There wasn't much I could do except report the missing luggage and continue my vacation. The next morning, I joined a walking tour of the city. Our guide smiled and said, "Sometimes the best adventures happen when you take the road less traveled." Instead of visiting the crowded tourist attractions, we explored quiet neighborhoods, local markets, and small cafes that most visitors never saw. It turned out to be my favorite day of the entire trip. A few days later, my suitcase finally arrived at the hotel. By then, I had already bought a few new clothes and learned that traveling doesn't always go according to plan. Sometimes you just have to go with the flow. Looking back, I realized the delayed flight and missing suitcase weren't the memories I talked about most. Instead, I remembered the unexpected places, the friendly people, and the moments I never could have planned. In the end, those little surprises made the trip one for the books. Now let's see how much you understood. Question 1. What does back on track mean? Question 2. What does part of the journey mean in this story? Question 3. What does take the road less traveled mean? Question 4. What does go with the flow mean? Question 5. Why did the narrator say the trip was one for the books? Thank you for listening to I Speak Fluent. How many idioms did you already know? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next English listening story.